In this lesson today, my students and neos of the world, we're going to talk about an issue, and this is going to benefit men. This is generally for you men. And I'm going to talk about the details of, I won't say of the future, of the current situation. And depending on if you are in a relationship, if you are married, or what type of direction you want your life to be in, you're going to benefit from this lesson here today. Let me give you a little bit of something about me as Morpheus. And I'm going to put this first and foremost before I forget about it and not be able to bridge it to you. There's a thing about thinking out of the box. When you think outside the box of any situation, you will find real life. You will find your escape from a crippling situation. You're able to survive out of the traps and snares that the world has for you, men. You're able to succeed in fixing your house. You'll be able to work on a car easier. You will manage the ability to survive as if you are MacGyver or 007 or Mr. Go-Go Gadget. These three characters was very famous for being able to pull out a tool in an otherwise difficult situation to survive. MacGyver was good at that. He was good at making a lockpick out of toothpicks or a, what do you call that? Safety pin. Okay, 007 had gadgets with his automobiles, his Austin Martins, right? His Austin Martin was able to transform into different things. His watch has laser beams in it, right? So he had so many things to deal with his world as an agent. Especially there's one that was called, I think Solstice or something like that. One of the last ones that was very popular. There was one that did say something about Solstice. There was one that was called From Russia with Love or something like that. But the gadgets was unique. He had gadgets to heal himself. He had gadgets in case of a emergency. He had gadgets that healed himself from a he was gambling one night and he got sick because they rigged the game. I think it was a female or somebody I think it was a female who put something poisonous in his drink or something like that, and he almost passed away. But in his car, he had gadgets to bring him back to life. All right. And of course, you got Go-Go Gadget. I'm not going to go into the details of that. You understand the cartoon. If you're of the new generation, just look it up. Look up Go-Go Gadget cartoon. And his car would transform into a van and into a car and to whatever necessity that he needed. And he had gadgets in his hat should he be in a tough situation. And so let's move forward in this topic. Why I say that thinking outside of the box is essential to your life, men, because when you think outside the box, you are going to be relying on logic. You're going to be relying on thinking for yourself. There are times in life where there is no help at all. You can't call someone in your situation, and you will not get help in the situation, and you don't have the tools that are available to you. Tools can be friends, tools can be family, tools can be your ex-girlfriend or even your wife. If she's if she divorced you, she's nowhere to be found, or she's not there anymore, you're just taking care of the task on your own. There are multiple things that is tethered to the fact that you are in a situation that requires a little assistance. And there's nothing wrong with saying there's a little assistance that you require. So in order to survive the situation, you have to think outside the box. You have to be a MacGyver. You have to be a 007. You have to be Mr. Gadget, go gadget. That's what it means for them to pull out tools. When you take it into the metaphysical and the psychology, they're saying that they had to think outside the box. They had to think in a otherwise tough situation. All right. This is a vital point in this conversation that we are having with you and your success, our successful relationship, or whatever goals you're trying to reach in your business, are those who are around you. This is how I'm able to pick my companions or my girls that I consider to be a worthwhile adventure or a waste of my time. See, oftentimes, and I told you this before, in basic studies, and I'm not going to go to the detail because this ain't about offending anyone. Okay. In basic studies, in reality, okay, the basic structure of most women, they are very good at being good soldiers. They're very good. They'll stick with the protocol. They will stick with the program forever. Okay. They will stick with it until the boss says otherwise or whoever's in control. All right. And they will stay on that bead. They will stay on it. They're very good soldiers. They're very strong. They'll stay on their post and do the best they can do according to directives. And this goes to a very good lecturer. It tethers to the fact that they say, and it's true, that there are some women who need guidance or want guidance. They're not interested in blue pill weak men. They look for somebody who's going to be a good leader. A man who knows his place, who's able to pull the load and be the director, not be the what do you call that? The actor or the character. Okay, he's the director. He's the one in the lead, and he's the dominator. Not that he's taking control and harming anyone. Just he's the one who he carries the pants in the house. Okay, he has the broad shoulders, and he's making the moves as where moves need to be made. Okay, so oftentimes women are accustomed to men taking charge. Okay, that's just historical facts. That's genetic facts. That's things that's been happening for years now. Whether you might have women who pull away from that, from nature's idea of function. Okay, the majority of them are looking for a man to be the guiding light. Because it's easier to take directives, it's easier to go along with the program than it is to be the front runner. And the front runner means what? You got to be 007, you got to be go gadget, you got to be MacGyver. And oftentimes, what does it require? What did I say? What did I say, man? It requires what? Say it. Logic. Logic means you have to put your emotions aside. And you have to put your sensibilities aside. You have to focus on what needs to be done in the moment. Now, for some women, you probably came across them. I have plenty of times. And I understand that I have explained that in another audio. If you have been studious in my classroom, as I expect for you to have been by this time. Okay. Whereas there are some women who say that a display of emotion is a sign of weakness. Okay. And so they feel like being strong and independent means they don't need to display their emotions or be, I guess the word would be feminine. All right. To show some sensitivities, but unfortunately, but greatly respected. Okay. Now, it's not even an idea. Nature provides that essence, that energy for a woman, because that's a part of her feminine nature. That's a part of who she is, to show a little bit of emotions, that she is alive. She's breathing. She's not a robot or a wind up doll. Okay. So just because she's showing her emotions, that doesn't mean she's weak. Even men have emotions. We just apply logic to our emotions, and we control our emotions through getting things done and sensibilities. Not saying that men need to be hard up and have no feelings at all, because we do have feelings. Okay, so women who want to be like you, want to be like men, think that that's the direction to go, to be this person who has to put their emotions on lockdown. But it's not good for a woman who is made to be the comforter or the sensitive or the one who is, open minded to the emotional realm of things. That doesn't mean that she can't be logical and be emotional. It's okay to be emotional as long as you're getting your work done and your task complete. That's the misconception. A man is not looking for a hard up woman. He's already hard enough as it is. Men are already not trying to display their emotions. They are brought up that way. And by nature itself, we are naturally not going to be completely emotional. Even though we have feelings, nature have called that for our being. So therefore, we know how to tamper it down versus our nature. Okay, so it does not amalgamate us. It does not manipulate us and transform us to be this mutant type of man who's trying to hide his real face. But for the woman, it's a different story. So therefore, it does more harm for her than good to try to say that if she displays emotions, it makes her weak. Because oftentimes when she say that, it makes her more of a turnoff, and it makes her more of a person that seems to have an attitude, and she's stuck up and she thinks she's a know-it-all and she doesn't want to be in a relationship, so forth and so on, and she don't need a man's help. And y'all know the list. I'm independent. I don't need you. Get out of my face type of idea. Okay, because she cannot quite understand that it's not about her emotions. Okay, it's about being respectful of her own nature and just controlling herself to a degree where she's not losing control and causing damage and chaos for those around them. Okay, with the emotions leading first and foremost. You can have emotions there, but be logical at the same time. You can be raging mad and screaming at someone, okay, or raising your voice. But if you are logical and sensible and it makes sense, okay, it will make a better effect than just blurting out something because you just feel a certain way. Okay, so therefore the balance beam is a struggle for most of those types of women. So in the long run, when you are in your place and you're being the man that you're supposed to be, you being the director, you are the guiding light, you are the leader in your circle or in your personal life, okay, then generally the nature of the average woman that used to exist before now, and it's still happening now. It's just that a lot of women are trying to fight that natural nature, will line up. It will still be a respectful situation, or a situation where she will follow your lead. Even more so if you got things to do, if you're optimistic, if you aren't spending all your time in your day on concentrating on the minor things, where you are on your grind, you're taking care of your business, and you're focusing on the requirements of the day. You don't, not sitting down wasting time and twirling your thumbs without nothing better to do with your time and yourself. You're making moves. You're making plans for the future. Okay, so that becomes a boat or a truck or a path that you have created that's easy for her to take part of. Okay, but we understand and overstand that the dangers of that is that used to be a way to build a family and to have a balanced home, but now it's just simply people or women in general trying to jump on your bandwagon and parasite off of your success. Okay, then it is trying to help you in your line. So therefore, you get into the messy tape that I'm not going to talk about right now. Okay, so it's not like that anymore, but that's the way it's supposed to be. Okay, or should be for the balance of order. Okay, that's a balance to it. But the one thing that I do want to tell you, when you keep in line of what I'm telling you about being a logical thinker and being one who thinks outside the box, okay? Relationships in marriage, and I'm gonna tell you how I look at it for myself personally. I already told you, not interested. I know the details of it. The destruction of a relationship, long-term relationship, have led men to the bad ending for a long time. Okay, you'll find yourself not being fully engaged with the real information about what's going on in your current world before you get engaged in a long-term relationship, because you don't look at the footwork or the details of what this relationship is going to be 10 years in advance. When you want to look at the 10-year period, I'm just giving you a trajectory here. A 10-year period that you're going to be with this person for 10 years, you got to think about where she's been at 10 years before. Let me say that again, because I know you're not slow, but I have to say that because it may make sense this time a little deeper. If you have in your mind to have a long-term relationship, have a basic trajectory of 10 years if you have that type of time to spare. Okay, if you hope, expect, believe, or for some of you have faith, which is not in Morpheus's dictionary at all. Okay, so I'm going to give you what I say is expect. Everything else is off my table and off of my lexicon. Okay, if you expect for your relationship to last for 10 years, okay, you need to figure out where she's been at 10 years prior to that. Okay, because what happens is, it's no different than getting, I told you about this before, I'm not going to get to the sticky tape because this is not about talking bad about anyone. Okay, when you understand the track record of what type of goods that has been taken from this girl, meaning how many people she's been with, donkey, okay, where she's been at, how she's been living her life, you would know what type of longevity she has with you, and you would know why she has an attitude. You would know why you're dealing with the struggles. You would know why she will flip on you immediately after 4 or 5 years. You would know why she has the conditions that she have based on what she's been through. Okay, based on this is why a lot of men, and you know this, a lot of men talk about why it's not good to get with older women, you know, women who've been there, done that. Because what will happen is you get this repackaged car, which is what you might say refurbished, fixed up, you know, cleaned and with a nice paint job, but it doesn't reverse the time on the engine. You're not going to reverse the tachometer when you did like 300,000 miles on the thing. Okay, it's just going to be 300,000 miles on a new paint job. And then therefore you are expecting to have longevity with this car. You're going to have nothing but maintenance. Okay, you're the one who's going to be doing the maintenance. See, let me tell you, this is something else. It comes to my mind real easy. It's no different, okay, than when you are with this. Look at it like this. A rich person, which is somebody who has the means, you know, he's a quality man. You know, he's 22, 23, whatever. You know, he's around, you know, maybe even 32, and this girl's probably 24, 23 or something like that. They're around that range, right? And for a good 7 or 8 years, she's being driven by all sorts of, all kinds and sorts of men who is able to test drive this car, or some people say lease it, for several years. You know, there's some buyer which will lease it when it's brand new, fresh. You know, she's fresh out of college, you know, college years, you know, the entry form, you know, she's not even, she's standing outside the classroom with her books in her hand, you know, and, you know, it starts there. Okay. And fresh paint job, nice leather, smells good, fresh, you know, fresh metal. You open up the hood and the engine's clean. There's no oil leaks anywhere. You're like, wow, this is an amazing car, but you know you're going to lease it because you're looking long term. That's for, I can't call them too much smart men, but I would say men who are very cautious. If they know what the game is all about, if they understand what type of deal that they're getting, they will lease it. And oftentimes it's going to be an automatic lease because these girls get with men who are of no quality. What that means is these men don't know that they can build something at this time. These men don't know that she has the potential, okay, to possibly be wife material, or she's in a position where she can be taken care of, where there's not going to be any future nicks and knacks to catch up to them. But these girls choose the wrong type of men to care for them. They choose the wrong type of owners to drive them. Okay, so they constantly make bad decisions, dating decisions with these roughneck, inconsistent, broke, bummish, malnutrition, single mother raised men who have no idea how to take care of a woman the right way, or not necessarily take care of a woman, but to be the director in the relationship and to set standards and boundaries to give her an idea of the expectation of relationships. Okay, so he's not a guy, especially if he's the same age as her. She's 22, he's 22. That's like two blind mice. Okay, he's barely even understanding himself, let alone getting in a relationship. So what they operate in between those years is what? Come on, hormones and emotions. Okay, so she's driven least again by that same type of guy, because she keep choosing the same type of guy. I know this because I talk to these women all the time, and they make very bad decisions. And they say, I can't help it, I just love him. No, she's just emotionally attached to him. That's all. Okay, not just emotionally attached. And love most times is irrelevant, because when you start using logic in your relationship and you calculate the damages you're doing to yourself, okay, no matter how much love you have for that person, okay, they are practically destroying your life. Therefore, love be damned. Okay, it's all about protecting yourself and making a brighter future. But they don't comprehend that at that time. They're too busy listening to their mothers, too busy listening to other people who have destroyed their life, and they have women's circles who promote them to do that to themselves, because years ago, it wasn't like that. Years ago, there was a decent grandma at home, but now grandma has to work. Now grandma's pretty much doing the same thing that her younger kids doing, and they're in competition with each other. The older woman is in competition with the younger woman because they realize men don't want anything with high mileage. So now she knows she's in competition with the fresh new Lexus coming straight off the lot with only 1,000 miles on it. Okay, so envy is the beginning of sorrows. However, this goes on to where she gets to the age of 32 or something like that, when the leather is no longer brand new. You got to understand this. The leather is no longer brand new. The mileage on the car is not great. You know that. Okay. The tires are already warped out. The tires have been changed several times. There's been times we had to change the alternator, the starter. The list goes on. Okay. Damage, little dings here and there. The paint job isn't as bright as it used to be. Okay, with the young girl versus the older girl, when you look at the young girl and her aptitude, attitude, and energy, depending on where she's at, what country, her eyes are bright. Big bright eyes. You can see energy there, a little spunk, a little interest in life. The older she gets, depending on what type of relationship she gotten herself into, and programming, okay, and family and development, okay, that light disappears over time, or now she's kind of bitter and jaded. Now she has high expectations. Now she's expecting for you to do what every other owner have done to the car. Sometimes there's even indentions in the chair. There's indentions in the chair, scratch marks on the leather. Okay. Sometimes even the knob for some vehicles are wore out. The knob that's sitting there with the shifter, it's wore out because it's been used so many times. So then when you get to the point where you're with this person, okay, you're thinking there's going to be some longevity. You're thinking, oh, it's going to last for a long time because it looks good on the outside of it, because, women are able to, don face paint and put on all kind of, gear to convince you that she's the angel and you go for it. And you say, okay, I'm going to marry her. I'm interested in her. Oh, she's great. Her donkey dunking is over the hill. It's over the charts. It's great. It's amazing and all this great stuff because you probably haven't had it in a long time, or she's just new to you, which is one of the big catches. Because she's a new thing, you think it's an interesting thing because it's new, but it's no different than the rest of them. Okay, and you begin to find that out when you are disappointed with the activity or the performance. But however, you're still deceived. And then what happens is you end up thinking that with promising words, not action, because words don't mean anything, action does. Okay, that it's going to be successful for you in the 10 years coming. But it doesn't, because you're with something that have already been driven before and you fail yourself. And now you divorced again. Now you in a single, now you in a, you could say a heartbroken situation because you didn't think about what I just told you. So therefore, if you understand how the process works, you will think differently. Okay. And most times you'll start deciding differently of who you're going to spend time with, because you should realize you're just the number so-and-so guy. The numbers are so high. I can't say number two because that's, you can add several digits to that one. Okay. You're just the next guy in line. Okay. So moving forward with this is the the third gear of this conversation, because it's not all about that. I know you're surprised. It's not about that. I was thinking about the limitations of when you don't use your out of the box thinking. When you decide to go for the long-term relationship, like I just described, and you just tamper yourself down and you take your success and your money and your time and energy and say, let's get married. But sad, but you decide to do it. Okay. All I think about, what comes to my mind, is a group of people who isn't quite getting anywhere. And this can apply to both pendulums if you want to go there. Okay, it can apply, but I'm trying to help you men out. This is for you, which isn't really trying to uplift America, not really trying to uplift family, or what it all means, or the success of a child, that children need mommy and daddy at home. Okay, they need daddy there to fight for the father to be the father of the home. Okay, which we know is no longer the father, it's system and indoctrination and so forth and so on. Okay. And what I see in my third eye, in my instincts, is a limited cloud upon your head, where this cloud, which is called the archaic traditions that don't line up today in 2020s, this cloud, which is the marriage schematics. Your program indoctrinates to tell you that you have to grow up, get married, grow up, get a good job, get married, be a good man, so forth and so on. Even though they can detail what a good man is, they never gave you what the details of a good woman was. Okay, but they'll tell you to do this, and you don't know where you're going to be at 12 years from now, or 5 years when you marry the person, and you get into this grid-like system where you was promised, unlimited success. And sometimes there are systems that will actually promote you for being married. You can succeed in the world somewhere when you say, yes, I am Mr. So-and-so, and this is Mrs. Jane, whoever. Okay. And you would think that people will respect you. You can get in many places. Okay. Some doors will open for you. You would think that will be the direction to go. Right. But there's something that you're not seeing. That may be a part of your success, but there is nothing like your freedom. There's nothing like coming home to you where you don't have to deal with the nagging. You don't have to deal with somebody looking over your shoulders 24 hours, 7 days a week. You don't have to wake up in the morning and have to do your round check on everything at home. And I'm not saying that the kids are irrelevant. If kids are there, well, they're here now. You just got to deal with that responsibility. But when it wasn't there, and you had the opportunity, there's nothing like being able to go where you want to go, do what you want to do, and be at liberty to get a new car if you want to, and drive it for a little while, should she decide to be your dream car, and it's successful for you, and you find that car which is well for you. And you don't have to have imagination anymore. No more. There's a such thing as dream girls, or, man, if I wasn't married, that sort of expression that married men say. Or, dang, look at her over there. Boy, if I wasn't married, and the churches, you're religious indoctrinated, and certain people around you will automatically convince you. They'll say, well, there's nothing else better out there. There's nothing out there for you. There's nothing else better out there for you. You're not missing anything, so just be happily married. are basically get married and settle down, where there's nothing out there in the world. Sell your oats, do everything that you can, and then finally get married. Okay, before you limit yourself permanently. And I will tell you now, as your Morpheus brother, as your empowerment brother, that has never, ever in the history of America, okay, been a successful fact and stood up through the line of struggle and distortion. Because by the numbers and by the year, there are many of men who thought the same way. They jumped right into the long-term relationship and marriage, okay, and didn't do the fact checks, didn't concern themselves about, again, looking 10 years ahead by going 10 years in the past. What did you do when you was in high school? Who's your boy? Who's that? Who's so-and-so? Who was you with, in 5 years ago? And most times, of course, they say, I can't remember. There's a red flag right there. That's another red flag. Well, I can't remember. You can't remember. How can you not remember who you spent your most vital personal time with? How can you forget? That should tell you two things. Maybe they was drunk and out of their mind, or here we go, it happens so often where they can't remember. That's a very bad sign. Because I can tell you right now, I can go back 12 years from now. As I'm speaking to you, I can go back 12 years. Because it's important to me, because I make sure that I do my fact checks even on myself. I want to know where I've been 12 years from now. Okay. I want to know if I feel a certain way about the future. Okay. Why am I thinking the way that I'm thinking? What happened to me in the past? Okay. So I practice what I preach. So how can I say, oh, I forgot? How can you forget? These are people who you gave your energy to, your time to, your donkey dunking to, your intimate energy. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I can't remember 5 years from now. What? Oh, excuse me. Then you know what I'd be? Okay. So you're that type of car. Okay. I'm going to I'm going to rent you for a little while, and I'm going to park you where I got you, and I'm going to leave, and I'm going to find something else that, has some fact check to it that I know something about. Okay, I'm gonna go find somebody who can remember. And most times when you find somebody who remembers, that's somebody who cares about themselves. That's somebody who took the time to think about where they have been at in life. Okay, if she's not 20, 21 or 22 or 23, which is common for them to just, have a lackadaisical mindset, it's whatever, party time, that's an obvious thing. But when she's older, which some of you men get involved with when she's like 30 or something like that years old, and she's talking about, oh, I don't remember 10 years ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago. I don't remember. You got a problem on your hands that you still like, well, I'll still marry her because she's a good woman. Because she makes good steak and eggs in the morning. Now I know you're thinking, well, Morpheus, are you saying for us not to procreate? You tell us not to unify? You telling us not to get married? No, what I'm telling you is I'm not a psychic. Okay, but the future is something that is unforetold, but it becomes even more unforetold in destruction when you don't pay attention to what you're getting yourself involved in, and you end up limiting yourself by a people who is naturally made to limit you. When you abide yourself, here we go at the beginning. When you abide yourself with a people who don't think outside the box, who is not a MacGyver or a go gadget. Okay. I told you I won't involve myself with people like that. Who's like, well, I'm just, I'm going to just do by the book. That's what the book said. The supervisor said that this is the way it's supposed to be done. So I'm going to sit here and suffer because I'm not going to use my own thinking faculties. I want to, I'm going to get the approval from the supervisor before I do this, even though I have the tools right there in my face. I can think for myself, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to go ahead and be a good soldier and do what they tell me to do. Okay. And just suffer trying to figure it out for the next half hour or hour when I can figure it out for myself. I'm waiting for somebody to tell me I can't be with anybody like that. I'd rather be with somebody who can think for themselves. You know what? Forget this. Let me do this. You know what? You can do this. You can twist it this way. Here. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. I got something in my back pocket. Wait a minute. Oh, that bolt is tight. I don't have anything to, okay. Well, I'm gonna figure out something. Go outside and get some sticks, right? bend the sticks around and put like a little metal wire around it and take it right where the bolt is and twist it. You'd be like, wow, how in the world did you? Because you thought outside of the box. You was thinking logically. Listen, life is outside of the box. It's outside of traditional. Now, I'm not saying that we should be a state or a country or a people who don't abide by the unity of marriage, of family and children. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not promoting to go against unifying and trying to make a better America or a better future for the children. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you need to protect yourself, because most times we don't evolve because we allow ourselves to wed, to bed, okay, and to stay next to a people who have no intentions of thinking outside of the box with you. Because most times their game don't change. It becomes worse for you men, and you get involved with them and you limit it because you still want to live your life. You want to go places, you want to see different people. You want to play golf a little longer, go hang out, go shoot some pool, live your life as you used to do in the college days or the beginning days. Okay. But then you have people that will shame you and say, how old are you now? Or you shouldn't be doing that now. You're too old. What are you doing out here playing basketball? What are you doing riding a motorcycle like that? You're too over to act like a mature adult. Then they'll try to convince you to get something that's, for older people, and where you sit down on the bench and just watch children have fun while you sitting there collecting dust. But you still got life to live. You still got to. It's just like the Lightning McQueen situation. This is just like him. When he was racing and the blue car ended up getting crashed and spinning over. What's the thing that he said? He said, wait a minute, I still got life left. What about the Hornet? Okay, that's a good expression. What about this guy who was he was out of the game because he got an injury? All right, this is still Lightning McQueen, the movie, part 1. Okay, and he was once upon a time a racer. They didn't want him back in, all because he had an injury. But what did he say when he was in the garage? He said, I still had life left. But they put him out of commission, but he was standing there with still life left. And therefore, because he met somebody who was younger, imagine Lightning McQueen being a 22, 23-year-old girl or something like that, or some woman who was, a lot more vibrant than yours that you married. Okay, but anyway, and she comes into your life and she awakens the youth in you and the ability to, man, I feel young again. I wouldn't, man, if I can get back out there. And when you meet these type of people, you will end up like Hornet. What did he do? Okay, he was out there and Lightning McQueen was over the hill, and they was like, where's the doc at? Where is he at? He was out there in the dirt field getting ready, and he had his sports tires on, getting ready to do what he haven't did in many years. That's live his life. And he done so because Lightning McQueen have awakened that within him. But why should you live a life where you become like him and you stuck in a garage for the rest of your life? That's your only, they said we're supposed to grow up, get married and settle down, have kids, and this is it. And then everybody that's around you ain't going to do what you do. And all you have for a long time is responsibility here, responsibility there, paychecks there, money here. I got to go here. Well, let's go shopping this weekend, honey. So while you're ironing clothes and doing shopping and in the lines, in the laundromat, I'm somewhere living my life. I'm Lightning McQueen, barreling up the highway. Okay. And what you need to comprehend is if they're not supporting you to make you the best that you are, if you look at the way the country is, if you look at the condition between man and woman, I think I'm particularly very, very accurate with what I'm saying. Okay, it's not really to benefit you at the end of the day. It's going to benefit them. All your work, all your so-called, I'm the responsible adult here. That's just what we do. That's just what we do. We just get married. You find somebody to love and you settle down. Settle down for what? Settle down what? What are you settling down? Why would you want to settle down? I look at it like a jet. My life is a jet. I'm not made to settle down. I might be on the runway for a few minutes, but I'm going to get right back up in the air. Why would you want your life to just settle? You're just going to settle in, go into a hangar bay and just sit there and collect dust and go, this is just what life is. But you don't understand that there's a lot more life to be had, even more so when you combine yourself with the new age of the new type of women and their new way of thinking. Men need to concentrate on themselves today. You need to concentrate on your own ability. Should you find the unicorn, let it be when you are on your grind. Let it be when you are focusing on yourself. Let it be, this is one scene that I love. I'm going to tell you what I like. Okay, let me tell you something as Morpheus. Okay, this is what my intentions are. Okay, if I'm Lightning McQueen, okay, and I was interested in building a future for America and having a child, all that old great stuff. Okay, if I was ever interested in that, which I doubt it. Okay, because the ratio of that is like 1 out of 100. I'm looking for, if I was ever to look for or accept the possibility, okay, it will be that 1 out of a million type of girl. Okay, the unicorn, the one that just has to fall out of the sky, and most likely she's going to be alien. She's not going to be a human being compared to what's going on in America. So she might be alien. Okay, to be honest with you, okay, or a blow up doll. One of the two. But what will end up happening is while you are driving, she will be Portia. That's right. She will be Portia. What did Portia do? Pay attention to Portia. She was on his lane and on his level. Okay. She awakened Lightning McQueen, and Lightning McQueen is a race car. Not to say Porsches can't do that. There's particular sports cars and race cars as well, underneath. So, they will surprise you all the time. I like Porsches. But anyway, in the cartoon, what did she do? She was on his level. She was riding. She wasn't trying to overtake him. She was making him better. She was on his level. She was riding around the curves and she inspired him and tried to give him a couple of hints, had him sleep in the cozy cone instead of having him sit outside. She was promoting him. She was supporting him. She was speaking up for him. And she liked him, but didn't want to admit it. She wasn't talking about, oh, I'm strong and independent. I don't need you, Lightning McQueen. She was driving by his side. That's what it means to be a companion. And that's what you would need. And if you look at the history, yeah, she may have had a stamp in the back and all that. Okay, she has some history, but she was in waiting at the time. Okay, when it comes to the movie, that is, I can't talk about the girls that are around you, but she was in waiting. She was in the mountains somewhere, just needed a little touch of reality, waiting for a guy like you. But because you're in the city, accepting, high mileage vehicles like Rusty's, and you get married to it. And then when you be able to travel, you go places, or you on a family vacation, there's Portia standing right there and you stuck in a committed relationship with somebody who has high mileage on them and ain't benefiting you until the court day comes, until there's a struggle for the children. And now your future is done for, and then you're a single man all over again, because it happens all the time. Because you got to understand the people that are around you on a general basis, and it's not just spiritual, it's not just mental. Most times, even your systems aren't there to make you better. Otherwise, the laws would change dramatically. There are some retributions, but it is very seldom. It's very few in between, and they're not recognized as importance. So therefore, you don't end up being free like that and feeling like the man that you're supposed to be. So every time I think about it, I think about how much better that you could be if you allow yourself to explore your true horizon, your potential, without being limited, without having those traditional restrictions there that aren't really going to benefit you to begin with if you understand their whole plan. I'd rather be with a woman who don't have a long track record and she hasn't been crossing out her exes just because she felt like it. Because I'd have to worry about that. Okay, because that's a good sign that I'm going to be X'd out as well. So when she has a vibrant track record, okay, and she has the potential to grow, to be studious, or to learn, or to mold and to be a companion in a relationship, Okay, that will be at least one step in the right direction. But there still won't be no marriage on the table, or basically long-term relationships. Or I could say, as soon as she flip up and change face, I'm like, okay, that door needs to change his door handle right there. You know how you can change? Go ahead and reach the door handle and turn it to the left. It just changed, and pull it open. Now, instead of the door being closed, it's open. Now, what I want you to do is grab your bags, okay, and your stilettos or what type of shoes you got, and walk out of the door. Let's make that change real easy. I don't play that game. Okay, because there's standards over here. Because listen, I stand by my freedom. I stand by my freedom. I have that rocket jet that you see flying across the sky. That's me. That's what I stand. That's my standard right there. And I won't let you ground me. You understand? Talking about, oh, you settle down. No, settle down for what? No, I'm gonna keep on going. Just listen, fuel me up while I'm flying. Fuel me up. They got fuel airplanes as well. They got names for them, right? Where when you are in the sky, you're running out of fuel, they will refuel you while you are flying. That's me. Okay, the ground is irrelevant to me. I'm made to fly. That's what your soul and your spirit should be about. And that's how your standards should support you. So when you meet someone, they're not there to put a limited ceiling on you. They're there to fly with you, just like Portia. She wasn't there to keep him from going. So what did she do? What did she do over time? Check. What did she do? Lightning McQueen had the boots on his wheels, right? He had the boots on his wheels. She purposely broke the boots over time and drove away from him so he can be free to just be himself and make decisions on his own. You understand? To the point where even the officer was standing there. The car was getting ready to put on his siren because he thought that Lightning McQueen was going to run. No, she was showing him a different side of freedom. That's how you know you meet somebody who is there for you. But how can you say that this is possible on a high racial when divorce is the high racial? Hypergamy is the high racial. As soon as you lose your money or your job, she's gone. Because you're no longer the provider. Because listen, you're not making the path anymore that she can jump on. Okay, we're now in your Westernized civilization. She's making more money than you, got more degrees, all this type of stuff. They're getting more advantage over the man. Now you disenfranchised, and now they're able to make the path. But should you jump on the path, you're lesser of a man. You're less of a man. And then when they explain it to you, like, what is a man? I need a man in my life. And then you ask them, what is a man? Oh, somebody who can provide, lead, and he's able to protect, and blah, 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 blah. But yet they want to take the mantelpiece away from you. And he's like, whoa, this is a settled situation. I'm satisfied with this. Sure. And then you mad because you're getting passed up by free men driving Corvettes. Driving Corvettes, expensive cars, and nice luxury sports sedans and motorcycles with nobody on the backside, or the Sissy Bar, as you call it. And you're in a minivan on the way to a family park meeting or something like that, a reunion or the grocery store, or picking up your daughter or your son from school or something like that. No, wait, it's not. Listen, to me, it's not a trade. Never. It's not a trade. No deal. That's off the table. No, if she's not going to ride with me, can't ride on my Sissy Bar. Not at all. I mean, well, she can ride on me by being on the Sissy Bar, but if she's trying to be on the side of me and overtake, and you're gonna sit on the Sissy Bar, Morpheus? Come on, no, no, absolutely not, absolutely not. No. I like how they tried to make, and it's kind of funny. They made a, y'all remember that Dodge Magnum? I think it's called the Magnum or something like that. The wagon, they put the Hemi in this wagon. This family wagon. I mean, it was a good idea, but I can imagine a lot of guys saying, yeah, that's my next step up. That's my family sports car. Like, I'm not talking about you, and I understand that you have your benefits. I'm not saying there's no benefit to it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you put yourself on a path of limitation, especially at the time where in this country it's crippling, where women are on the verge of survival. Okay, where they don't care too much about you, but what you have to offer. So you put yourself on the rat wheel until the rat wheel rust and break and you fall off. Now you have no more rat wheel to run on. And then you're free at the last minute, but you have nothing else to voucher for you because all that time you've been spending it providing for other people. Being a pack mule, being a traditional good to do blue pill guy who don't mind limiting himself for tradition and what other people tell you what you should do with your life. Okay, the HEL with that, you understand? Not going to apply myself to such limitations. Not going to happen. Okay, it's senseless and it's pointless, especially in this new generation. In the 2020s, you guys have to start thinking differently. If you're gonna be single, stay single and just fly and enjoy the time in the life that your interpretation of God have provided for you, where your intentions is to be the builder of yourself, to be the successor of your success, to build your path and stay on it. Not have people that want to leech off of you. When you get this idea, you will realize that a lot of things around you is just to put a hook in you and to limit you. Because if you were going to be successful, where you are that jet and you flying and you got other jets that want to fly next to you, then what I tell you before, the idea of divorce will be irrelevant. It will be pointless. You know, the divorce, what do you call that? The birth rate will increase, or it was steady. You know, child support will probably fall straight off of the dockets because people will be having their mind in the right place. But we are dog eat dog nation nowadays. We are just eating each other because we don't understand. And the problem is because we can't be alone. That's one of the big, well, I'm never going to find anybody for the rest of my life. If I'm alone and if I don't hurry up and marry and have kids, then, you know, I'm just not going to be able to do it. Who said you have to? Who said you had to limit yourself? But your program indoctrinators, your TV screen, you know, your systems are your belief idea, your religion. When all you need to do is live your life and keep burning your reels until there's no more will left. Whereas you can live without any regrets. Listen, the balance, the cost isn't worth it. It really isn't worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it with all the gambling that you do when you are in a long-term relationship with someone that you halfway know. You end up limiting yourself, okay, for something that's not going to be a Portia by your side. She's more like Mater. She's more like Mater, but with a female face, who always want to pretend that she is Portia, and you marry her just like that with Mater, look like Mater. Can't catch up with you. You know, you're on the country road, you want to curve, you want to go places, you want to speed up, you know, but they can't. You know, they're a truck, they're a tow truck. She's like Mater, rusty. You know, well, this is going to be for the rest of my life. Then other girls saying, good job. She found her a good one with high standards, hypergamy. And yeah, I'm great, but I gave it all to other people. But I want you to accept it anyway because you supposed to, because you are supposed to be a man. When you should turn around and say, well, you supposed to be a woman. But I ain't gonna go there. I'm not gonna talk about it right now. No, Morpheus is not gonna talk like that. I'm just gonna say you should turn around and correct the situation. Okay, if you're gonna throw that boomerang at me, be prepared to get it thrown back at you. Okay, I'm gonna throw two of them. See if you catch them. Okay, so men, that is a lesson for today. And what I'm basically saying, if you caught on to what I'm saying, is there is a net over your head. The net keeps you from being the best that you can. And the net is called traditional thinking that cannot be applied today in the common way that your country is operating in the West. The westernized idea of relationship, because it's the most worst place for you to find a long-term relationship, because it won't be long-term relationship because you're driving cars with high mileage. Okay, because there's a lot of married men who are now back on the market. They jumped off the boat and now have to restart their life all over again because they didn't learn their lesson the first time. Because they were programmed to go down that hill and become a wallet for their wives and family. Okay, I'm just trying to help you out here. That you got to have long vision. You know, your vision got to be like, well, yeah, this seems nice. It seems nice, but I'm looking for something better. Like, yeah, I could be a passenger plane, sure. I can be like a FedEx plane, sure. Yeah, I can be like this, this military plane that's just able to, fly from one location. No, 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 no. That's fine. I'm more like, no, I want to be this fast fighter jet. I want to be the one that get off the, don't even give me a runway. I just go vertical and I'm out. That's all. That's it. Now, all you see is that you'll see the afterburners. You'll see my engines flare up. Okay. I fly in the sky, sitting right there. No runway. Vertical, straight up. You're like, where's he going? Boom, out. Sonic boom. Mach 3, Mach 4, out. That way, I have no regrets. I live my life. I'm not talking about living wreckfully. I'm not talking about going around and dating all the girls that I want to date. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not talking about being a, a vigilante. I'm not talking about harming anyone. I'm talking about being free to be myself. And if I'm ever going to line myself up with anybody, it's going to be somebody who respects me for who I am as a man and respect my nature, and never allow your masculinity to be taken from you and be ostracized or be shamed in shaming language from your society. How are you going to shame me? I'm made to be a jet. This is what I'm made to do. How are you going to tell me I'm wrong for going in Mach 3 and I'm made to be Mach 3? Okay, get out of my face. You can't tell me that. This is what I'm made to do. So a lot of you men have allowed that to happen. Or you in the hangar with hooks on you, and now you become this old classic wing that you go. You know how you go to the aircraft museum and you see all these old airplanes that are in there that haven't been in the air for months, but they're just there for display. Why would you want to be that way? I just want to settle down. For what? I can't tell you how many men who have jumped out of relationships. Okay, because they've been they've been in a divorce court. They dealt with a hypergamy. They've been their child support. They've been robbed by the court system, basically, and they're like 54, 60 something years old, and they look as young as a 22-year-old person. Now they're really living. They're living their best life now. They out there jogging. They're golfing. They've learned how to heal themselves from the situation. And now they realize that they was a better man the whole time. And they should have been doing that a long time ago. Instead of they regret giving 12, 13, 14, 30 years or so for some of them, but used to be if they're that old, to a wife who had no intentions of longevity, but only to try to land him into a hangar where he can just sit there and collect dust. Not collect money, collect dust. She collects money, you collect dust. Why would you want to do that to yourself? I'm here to tell you to live your life. And should any time you decide to get into a relationship or you think it's a valuable thing to you, you better have some standards and say, this is what I stand for. Whatever you stand for, you can do that outside the house. As a matter of fact, you can stand on the other side of the door. Okay, I'm gonna stand here in this house. You can stand over, if you want to stand somewhere, stand over there. But if you stand in my circle in my home or around me as a companion, okay, I stand for something. Either apply, you don't have to apply here, go apply somewhere else. Okay, I don't play that over here. Over here, over here, I provide shirts, hats, and shoes and badges to represent what I represent. If you don't like it, okay, there's the other side of the door where you can stand at. You can stand there as long as you want to, okay, because you're not getting in. If you have that standard and that idea and that directive, okay, you won't have the problems that you're having in your relationships and marriages because you stand for something. But you allow yourself to be soft, and that softness ain't gonna do nothing but break you over time, like a pudgy piece of cake. This is Leon C, aka Morpheus. Like, share, and subscribe. And get that book 2020 America Rise or Fall Hard.